Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's Larry Allan with Firelight Sessions. Man, we got another episode. We are on fire, guys. We are just busting it out left and right now. We have a fantastic guest. I want to thank you guys for coming back every week. This week, we've got a great guest. His name is Eric Wilson. You may recognize him as soon as you look at him. He's been on Fox, ESPN. He's a corner guy for a lot of the boxers that are out there that are pro boxers. This guy is really good, and he's really good at what he does, and he's a great guy. I've known him a long time. Ladies and gentlemen, say hello, Eric Wilson.
Morning, everyone.
Eric, what have you been up to recently, man? I know you've been traveling all over the world. You've done a lot of cool stuff, and I know if I'm not mistaken, I believe you just got back from Australia. Is that true?
Yeah, I went over to Australia with Team Thurman, Keith Thurman, welterweight world champion. He fought Brock Jarvis, and it was a third-round knockout. Phenomenal fight, phenomenal showing. After 2 years out of the ring, we got him ready, and great showing.
Wow, that's fantastic, man. And I mean, just not that long ago, what? Thailand, the Philippines? You've been all over the place. Since I've known you, you've been all over the world. I know that much.
Well, just got back from Philippines. We got back from Philippines on June 21st. We spent 3 weeks over there helping family and actually working with some people, doing some education, and looking at building a home.
Very cool, man. Very cool. And I'm going to tell you something. I know Eric on a personal basis, but I had an issue back a long time ago. I had a motorcycle accident in 2016, and about 2 years ago, they were trying to convince me that I was having a stroke. I had numbness in my right arm. I had almost lost vision in my right eye. I was just seeing white spots everywhere, and doctors had me convinced that I was having a mini stroke or whatever. That I had a mini stroke. I go to Eric, and in less than an hour, this guy starts working on me, and he figured out that something had happened up in my scapula, where I'd broken my scapula. And this guy, I mean, literally within a couple of sessions, literally fixed all of my pain, man. Saved me thousands, possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars, because they wanted to do surgeries on me. They wanted to do all kinds of stuff, man. I mean, they were taking me down that doctor's road. So you remember that, Eric?
I do remember. When you came in, you really couldn't hardly lift your shoulder, severe headaches, no strength. And just through analysis of what had happened from your car accident, what was going on with your pain structure at that time, the body has certain pain patterns, and just through experience, you start figuring out which ones fit where. And with working with you, we were able to figure out which one of the vertebrae had an impingement, where you had the impingement through the upper traps, down along the rhomboids, along your shoulder scapula, so that we were able to get the muscles to release. The body's great for on, but it really doesn't turn off very well because it wants to always guard itself from being hurt. Mm-hmm. And once it's been hurt, it takes somebody who understands the pain patterns, what's going on with it, to get it to, basically like a child, be comfortable and understand that it's safe.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Well, I'll tell you what, it was educational, Eric, because he's not just a guy that you go in there and he works on you and whatever, and you walk out and you don't know what happened. He's explaining to you everything. As he's working on you, he'll do something, and it's painful. I'm not gonna lie. This guy's got hands of stone. Okay, it hurts. There's no doubt about it. It absolutely hurts. And what will happen is the pain will start to recede as he's working, as he's putting pressure on it. And he knows exactly when it's happening. He's like, it's almost like he's hypnotizing you, but he's not. This is real. He will be pushing on an area, and it will be so painful. And he'll say, okay, there it goes. And that's exactly when the pain subsides, And I mean, is it magic, Eric, or is it just knowledge?
It's all magic. You got to really understand the body. I've been given a gift, and I'm not anything but a vessel to help deliver healing.
Right.
And what it is, you start understanding how the body works. And when a muscle starts to relieve, it feels like an ice cube melting underneath your finger. Right. You actually feel the muscle release, and the pain is gone. My pressure doesn't change, but the muscle opens up and allows itself to relax.
Yeah, I can imagine that's probably what it feels like, because from the other end, it feels like something melting when it begins to, and what it really is the pain melting away. It's phenomenal, man. I mean, I've never had a lot of faith in traditional doctors, and but I know that the muscle therapy is insane, man. There's so much that, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I learned from acupuncture that you may have pain in your back that is related to something in your foot. Is that true, Eric?
Absolutely. I mean, modern medicine as we know it, and especially in the United States, it's been around for about 200 years. Ancient medicine has been around for over 5,000 years. It's interesting that they keep changing medicines and say, oh, this will work better, this will work, and this won't work. But yet, the ancients have still and stayed steadfast to what they've used for over 5,000 years. And they've evolved, yes, able to use different machines to do some of the same stuff, but it all has to do with how the body functions and why.
Well, you and I first met in BNI, okay, Business Network International. And you actually brought me in. I was there for several years. I really enjoyed it, and it was great for my business. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of I learned that it's great to have people who bear witness for you, and that is what happens with Eric. In a group of 100 and some odd people, I don't know how many people were in there. I don't think I think probably at least 60-70% of those people had visited Eric and were giving testimonials that, hey, I couldn't even lift my arm when I walked in there, and then the next thing you know, they're doing fine, they're working out again, and again, Eric, I'll give it to you, it's like you're a magician.
Well, to me, that's my why. I want to give people back the quality of life. If I give you back quality of life where you can ride your bike, you can go up and down stairs, you can be with your children, you can be around your grandchildren, and not be in a lot of pain, that is what it's all about. Do I need kudos for that? I get my kudos when you feel better. I tell people I'm a very arrogant therapist. I want my attaboys, and I get my attaboy when you get better. Yeah. So I need to put in the time to educate myself, to know how the body functions, and how I can help you. I have to break it down like a crime scene. What happened here? What is it really showing me as far as pain patterns? And what muscles and nerves are involved to cause that? And now what do I got to do to try and reverse that?
Yeah, and you're really good at it, man. When I say it seems like magic, it really does. It is actually something that when you're in such pain, when you're in such an amount of pain that you've almost given up. Eric said when I walked in that day, I was weak. He knew me. He's known me. So I'm a strong dude. I built my studio myself. Everybody wonders, how do you do it? How do you do it? I walked in. I was at the point where I had even written a song called "Blind," because I honestly thought I was dying, and this song was pretty much about me trying to find my way back. And I was lucky enough that this man right over here, man, he helped me find my way home. It was tough, Eric.
Like I said, that's why I do what I do. Back in 1997, I was in a car accident and I was put in a wheelchair for 6 months. At the end of my insurance, they told me that I had reached maximum medical improvement. I was still in a chair. I didn't know whether I was ever going to be able to get out of that chair. So another therapist who had knowledge and had been around for many decades spent the time with me to explain, to work with me. I mean, there were a lot of tears. I mean, not just tears of sorrow, pain, joy. But today I walk around. Yes, there's a lot of times that I hurt, but I still get to function like a normal person. So that's my reason for trying to help people get out of that pain without drugs or surgery. All drugs are, yeah, it gives you a quick fix. But take a look at the United States right now. How many people are dying because of all the pain medications out there, and it's not a great thing. And it just puts a Band-Aid on the problem and creates more problems. Every drug out there has over 150 side effects.
Yeah. When I came to you, they had they had given me like 6 different prescriptions because I don't like pain meds. If I take pain meds, I just don't like the way they make me feel. So I kept complaining to the doctor. I'm like, yeah, I just don't like the. So they give me something else. By the time it was done, I had 6 or 7 prescriptions. And of course the pharmaceutical, they made a profit on every one of those. And everybody involved right down the line made a profit. The doctor probably made a profit. I know, they say they don't get kickbacks, but they do. They get special bonuses. They get certain little perks that we don't get. Okay, and those perks come in the way of tickets to golf tournaments or discounts on Mercedes Benzes, things like that. So the bottom line is, it's sad to say it, but they want us buying their product, Eric.
Well, like I said, the whole thing is we do not have a get well system. We have a treat you system.
Mm-hmm.
We want to keep you alive so that we can charge you for more treatment. We don't want to make you any better, because if we make you better, then we look at actually you not coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that would be such a terrible thing. How am I going to make a living?
Right.
Well, when you help people, guess what? They tell other people.
Mm-hmm.
And they send them in to see you because they want to get better.
Yeah, they don't want to lose their customers.
It's
man.
not
Right.
about treatment anymore.
You're right.
Not to me. Because one, I don't want to get in your pocket. Two, I want to help you as fast and easy as I possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to give you quality of life back. I'm not going to be able to fix everything, but I'm going to do my damnedest to help you get quality of life back.
Mm-hmm.
I've had the benefit and able to work with professional boxers, world champions, travel to England, Australia, California, Mexico, Canada. I've taught in 5 different countries, 27 different states. And they don't just give that to somebody who's not trying to help other people and to really spread the word that there's something else out there other than the AMA's medical system that says, give them another pill and come and see us in 2 weeks. If that doesn't work, let's do another 2 weeks of something else. Oh, let's do a surgery. What's the surgeon going to tell you? He's going to tell you need surgery because he's a surgeon. What does he do? Let's take a look at why does the body do what it does? Why are all the different cancers? Why are all the different neurological disorders? Everything on that. Why are they going on? Because we're not treating the actual base of it. We're treating the symptoms of this. We're chasing pain around the body and hoping that that fixes it.
Yeah.
One of the things you said earlier, you may have a pain in your shoulder, but it comes from your foot. A lot of times people have a pain in their low back. It comes from their head. Why? Because we're on laptops, we're looking at our cell phones, we're looking forward. That puts a lot of pressure on your low back. That thing you call a head, which is a melon, is up there at 10 pounds, pulling harder on your low back. So as we do something like that, nobody anymore says, sit up straight, stand up tall.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look at some of these kids that are driving their cars, slumped all over, their seat leaned back as far as they possibly can. Guaranteed. It's good for me because it means that I'm always going to be busy because society is creating more patients for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I'd rather not have patients and know that people are doing things that are healthy to help themselves. So if you can do me one favor, sit up straight and stand up tall.
You taught me after decades of life, man. You taught me that I really did not have good posture, and even as you watch me in this chair, sometimes you'll see me. I'll just be sort of leaning toward the camera, but I often try to, especially in front of Eric here today, I'm going to try to be on my best behavior and try to pull up. But it's not comical, okay? But I can tell you something. Back in BNI, a lot of the testimonials that came Eric's way were from ladies who had breast enlargements. Am I crazy, or is that bringing a lot more clientele into your world?
It does bring more clientele into my world. But once again, that's excess weight. Was your actual body designed for that? There are women that are small framed, but are very large chested, but their frame was built that way.
Mm-hmm.
There are women who started with no chest, and now they've got augmentation done. So their structure has to adjust to that. It didn't get a chance to adjust to that from a period of time. From the time they're 12, 13, 14, 15 years old and start to actually grow. No, you add on a set of 38 double D Diacos, and now you're sitting at an extra 8 to 10, 15 pounds that's pulling you forward. Well, you have to do a lot of back work and strengthening to hold them up. So you're rounding your shoulders, your heads are coming forward, you're bending forward more. So you've got low back problems, getting plantar fasciitis because it pulls all the way down to your feet. Once again, back to where you said maybe you're coming from your feet that actually is causing your shoulder or something else to hurt.
Right.
It's called satellite pains, and there's a lot of different things involved. And it comes down to how does the body move, function, and why, once again.
Well, in my case, I mean, how would I have ever guessed that Well, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but the diagnosis was sort of most likely that there was a nerve growing into where it was healing together, right? Isn't that pretty much what happened there? In my case?
Well, what happened in your case really was that because your scapula had been broken, it it never completely healed and it moves, it flexes. And when that happens, it actually pulls and impinges on a few different muscles that go over top of nerve junctions. When it goes across that nerve junction, that causes an impingement. That impingement is going to send different electrical shocks, different directions. And sometimes we have motor neurons, we have pain, we have sensations, different things on this order that change how we feel. If your arm's not moving right, it may be a motor neuron that's actually collapsed or being compressed. So it's knowing, it's having the knowledge and having the passion to look, learn, and sometimes shut your mouth and listen, because there's other people. I've never went through a day and not learned something. And part of it's my grandmother told me, we got one mouth and 2 ears. Which one's easiest to shut?
Right.
Not your ears.
Nope. I grew up with that my entire life. It was yeah, that's a lesson that we need to learn. So, you know, sometimes it's a guy like me, because I'm a talker, boy. I'll get excited, and I want to say something so bad. I want to interject so bad, you know. But the truth of the matter is, if over the years I did learn, keep your mouth shut, man. When I interview people, you don't hear me interrupting them. You see a lot of I see a lot of these podcast guys, and they just can't wait to put in a thought, and it doesn't. A lot of times, doesn't have anything to do with what just was said. You know, I have learned just from the short period of time that we've been doing this podcast, the wealth of knowledge that I have picked up from this man just by listening to these people like Eric. Eric is one of, and he's going to be modest about this, but he is hands down one of the best therapists in the world. I mean, they fly him all over the world. He works with, just name a few of the people that you work with. We're going to go to your slideshow here right now.
A few of the people that I work with. Let's talk ballroom dancing. Roman and Galina Detkina. They are the world champion smooth American world. They're the world champion American smooth couple. Keith Thurman, welterweight world champion. Andre Berto, when he fought Floyd Mayweather for his last fight. I worked with Mike Allstott for a while. I've worked with basically every different sport out there except for hockey. Why I've never had the opportunity to work with pro hockey players. I think somebody beats the shit out of them all the time.
They could benefit from your services, sir. I can promise you that.
But I haven't had that opportunity.
Yeah, well, hopefully
and
you will soon,
you were talking about my hand strength and grip. I like the kid Keith Thurman. Aren't you glad I've got soft hands?
Yeah.
And we were doing an ESPN piece, and he's like, soft hands? You got cyborg hands.
Yeah, you do.
He says, I have no idea that any one person could have hands like that.
I have to laugh hearing soft hands when it comes to you, because the one thing you've got, man, is forearm strength. I can tell you that much right now. Personally,
but I have soft hands.
Yeah, maybe.
They're just strong.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. That is. It's like having a bull work on you. You know, it really is. But so you know what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk to you about, you know, we could talk about your work. And of course, you see on this screen here, if you look in the bottom, you'll see the A&E logo. That is Eric's logo. Okay. Eric, what have you been doing that's just straight up fun recently, you know, outside of work? And I know you were lucky enough to be able to take your son. Eric has a beautiful young son, and he was able to take him with him recently on a trip. So you want to tell us about that a little bit?
I have a client that's in Puerto Rico. I fly down to Puerto Rico once a month. I'm there pretty much for the weekend. His girlfriend has a son about the same age as mine, so I had the opportunity to take him with me and let them spend some time together, which is really awesome. I enjoy being able to share what I do with my family. I've had the opportunity to take my brother to go to different boxing matches. I've taken friends and family to boxing matches, introduced them to different individuals. You know, people that you can't even get next to, but because I've been privileged enough to get to know them. When people say it's not a good old boy club out there, they're telling you a lie. If you don't know somebody, you're not getting next to that person to talk to them.
Yeah.
Whether it's the music industry, the sports industry, television, anything like that. The opportunity is out there. I also want to say condolences to Hulk Hogan's family. Terry was a client of mine for a few sessions, and it's sad to see him go. A great individual, and but that's another one of the privileges that this brought to me.
Yeah, we you know, as a lot of people know, we had Steve Chamberlain on last week for our session, and then Hulk passed. That was on Tuesday. The episode didn't even release yet, and Hulk passed on Thursday. So on Friday, Steve came back in here, and Fox News 13 came in here, and they filmed Steve doing another sessions, and we've already released that one. Hulk and I, I've known him since I was a kid. He was the bass player. I've said it before. He was the bass player at Skip's Quarterdeck Lounge. When I first met him, he was barely wrestling. I got to witness this man turn into a real life Superman. He really did, right in front of our eyes, man. He developed into something incredible, and it's shocking actually. It's a shock to the Tampa Bay area. I can guarantee that because as Eric said, he was lucky enough to get to meet the man, and he worked with him. We've all met him, haven't we?
We've all met him. He was open to the Tampa Bay area wherever you were at. Mm-hmm. I mean, he did like his family time, but he would stop and give you a moment of his time.
Absolutely.
And like every figure out there, they get bombarded by people. Mm-hmm. And so if you see somebody out there that's famous or a name, you can say hello. But remember, when they're out in public, a lot of times they're with their family and it's their own time. Mm-hmm. And that's their time. They don't have to put on that persona to be somebody that's on TV, in sports, anything like that. I mean, Keith Thurman, you'll hear me mention his name a lot. Him and I are very close friends. And when we're out and about, people will see him. Yes, the recognition is nice, but he's with his family. And a lot of people respect it, but you still get those that don't. And speaking for those that don't, think about if somebody was up your backside all the time, it wouldn't be good.
Well, I can tell you one of the things that, and I'm lucky that, I've been in the music business, the art business and all that. I've got to work for so many celebrities. So I've been invited out to dinner with so many very famous people. And I can tell you that dinner time is off limits, man. If somebody's cutting their steak, leave them alone. Wait until afterwards, man, because they deserve to be able to eat. They deserve to be able to have some sort of a life, and the thing is, 99% of the celebrities that you'll meet are going to be cordial to you anyways. You're never going to know that it kind of bothered them a little bit because they're not going to show that to you, But the truth of the matter is, man, give them a break. If you see them, if they're at a restaurant, they're there because they need that time, man. That's what it is.
That's their family time.
Yeah.
That's their time away from the cameras, everything else. Like I said, if you see them on their way in or on their way out, say hello, snap a picture, whatever. But if they're sitting at dinner or you see that they're with their children, be respectful. You'd want the same thing for yourself.
Eric, I got a question for you, man. What other hobbies you got going on right now? I know you've been working on that house for years. It seems like. Have you ever been able to get it finished up and get it to a point where I'm
about 98% finished. I've still got to do a little bit of the screen room, and I'm going to do an outdoor kitchen.
Eric is an incredible craftsman. I've watched him, and not only him, his brothers, incredible craftsmen, and they love to tear things apart and put them back together. So
sometimes just terrible parts.
Yeah. Well, sometimes there's just not enough time in the day to put them back together. So I'll tell you what I'd like to do, Eric.
Sure.
Is I would like to. What I want to do is I want to go to another scene here, and we have a slideshow.
Okay.
And I'd like you to talk about it. It starts off with a picture of your son. I believe it starts off. The very first picture is a picture of your son. And so let's talk about that and a little bit of family there. And then there's several pictures of you with people that you've worked for. So if you'll walk us through that,
okay,
that would be really great. And we'd appreciate that, man. So here we go.
Let's see who we got. Oh, that's Orion. He goes by Gino. Excuse me. He turned 5 May 21st. I was a very old person when he was born at 55. At that point, I didn't know that I wanted children again, but he has been really an inspiration and keeps me young. Gives me a why.
He's a smart kid, man. He's one of the smartest kids.
He is an awesome kid, and as far as music, he is astronomical. At 2 years old, he sat down at the drums, never having sat down at a set. And Larry's seen him actually on a video and calls me up at 12:30 a.m. and he says, your kid's got rhythm. We need to do this, 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 and this. You know what we got to do. And then he stops and he says, wait a minute. I just planned his next 5 years. What are you going to do with him? He is pretty magical.
Yeah, yeah.
I
told you that day, Spinelli. We need to get him with John Spinelli.
John Spinelli.
Because that's,
With John Spinelli and
all those guys, man.
All the way up the line to the point of him getting on stage with Dave Navarro.
Oh, yeah, right.
You had it laid out.
We know this guy.
That's a picture of me in my office. Just started working on some social media stuff, and they needed a picture. Mm-hmm. And it's like, can I have more shadow on my face? Because I'm kind of old and ugly.
Well, that's a picture you want during COVID, so you can wear a mask, right?
Exactly. Working with Keith Thurman, that's on a private jet. We're probably at about 13,000 feet on our way to Las Vegas.
Very cool.
Wrapping hand wraps at the gym on 49th Street in St. Pete Boxing Club. It's a small gym. You walk in, smells like sweat. But to me, it smells like money and a lot of hard work. Sugar Ray Leonard, have had the opportunity to meet with him a few different times, sit down and talk to him. A very, very knowledgeable and nice individual. Really a great guy. Takes a little bit to get to know him, but he has definitely turned out to be a really awesome person to me.
He seems like a nice guy. He seems personable.
Probably one of the most beautiful ladies I've ever seen in boxing, Ms. Layla Ali. Very personable, very nice. My mentor actually was her father's therapist. Aaron Mattis was Muhammad Ali's therapist. And even in his final days when he went to light the torch for the Olympics, Aaron was there to help him light the torch.
Wow, that's fantastic.
I don't remember which fight this is, but this is a picture that somebody took of me and Keith in the ring just before a fight. I'm guessing that's Vegas. More than likely.
A picture from a television screen.
Yeah,
I think that might have been a broadcast.
Could have been.
Yeah. I know I've done that a couple times. I'm like, that's my buddy. He's on Fox. Right?
Yeah. There I am with Olympian and two-time world champion Andre Berto. He would give me a call and he's like, hey, it's time to fly. I got a contract coming up. I want you to come out this time. And I would fly out for a couple of weeks at a time to keep him from getting injured and to get him ready for the fight. And I would be there fight week with him and fight night. Make sure he was ready to go. This gentleman is, my brain's going blank, Deshaun Watson. This is when Deshaun Watson played for Clemson. They came out and they beat Alabama that year in Tampa. A very good friend of mine said the guys are stiff. They're having problems moving around, airplanes, rides, everything like that. Would you mind coming in and take a look at them and work on them? So I had the opportunity to work with Deshaun and Artavius Scott at that time. That's a picture of Artavius Scott on the table, and we're getting his hip flexors and everything taken care of. And there, you always got to enjoy beautiful ladies.
Yes.
There are perks to every job like this. So I had to take pictures with him. Me and Sugar Ray again. That was the night that Keith Thurman unified the welterweight world championships, and he had won the WBO and the WBC world championship belts from Danny Garcia. Cool. That's me working on Keith, getting ready to fight Manny Pacquiao. Edner Cherry, that's a warrior. A great individual. He's from Wauchula, Florida. The Ever-Ready Bunny. The man lives his faith. He's very, very strong warrior for God. And funny story. He believed in his faith so much, he wouldn't even say, excuse me, guys, but the word shit. We would try and try and try to get him. Nope, nope, nope. Couldn't get it. Wouldn't do it. I seen him get cheated, robbed from a world championship. And he said, you know what? That's God's will tonight. That's faith.
That's true, man. That's true. It's you got it. It's worth gold.
Team Thurman getting ready to take off for Vegas. Keith Thurman, Dan Birmingham, Dan the Man Birmingham, Keith's trainer for many years, Chris Getty, who was the son of Keith Thurman's original trainer, Ben Getty. We were together for almost 13 years. Great team. And I did get a chance to meet Manny Pacquiao and got a picture with him and things on that order the night or at the press conference before he fought Keith Thurman. Lennox Lewis. I talked to him at a press conference and I mentioned that a very good friend of mine and I had just been talking about, hey, you're my friend's favorite fighter. He says, really? He says, let's make him mad. I said, how's that? He says, come here, take a picture. I said, no, I've got pictures with you. He says, no, let's take another one. And then we're going to do a video call and call him and say hello to him, that you're here and he's not. Another picture with Lennox. And there it's me again.
Back to you. There we go. That must have been a double in there.
This is Lagunas, and he's from Manatee, Florida. Mexican fighter, great kid, great family. We fought over in Tampa. I was able to help him, and he got a third or fourth round knockout that night, I remember.
Oh, very cool.
Deshaun Watson and Artavius Scott. This is before the Manny Pacquiao fight in Las Vegas in the Villages.
Very cool.
In the mansion, excuse me. Not the Villages. Villages in Ocala. That was after winning one of our fights with Team Thurman. And there we are, back to my mini monster.
Back to Mini Man. So look, man, this has been a lot of fun. This has been entertaining and informative, you know. And I basically I want everybody to know that you know, Eric is really accessible. He may work for all these you know, celebrity type guys, you know, these athletes that you see on TV, you hear about, but he's totally accessible, you know. Eric, why don't you give your information right now real quick?
I work in Clearwater. I am in town most of the time. You know, as you've heard, I am out from time to time. But I'm at A&E Medical Massage. We're located on Myrtle Avenue, just south of downtown Clearwater. I can be reached at 727-461-9808. 727-461-9808. Reach out, give me a call. I can't, like I said, I can't fix everything, but I'm always willing to try. I look forward to meeting you.
I guarantee you can fix a lot of stuff, and we're not done yet. We've got some fun stuff ahead. We do a segment every week that we call "Is It Real?" Okay, it used to be called WTF, and we got to the point where I don't want to battle with the entities at bay. So bottom line is we do this thing every week. There's something in the news that we're all seeing that is just unbelievable almost, and you have to ask yourself, is it real? You know. This week, what we've got going on is there's a gentleman. We're going to talk about this right now. Eric and I are going to watch this, and I'm going to kind of go over this a little bit with you guys. A lot of you have probably seen this on the internet. Okay, there's a gentleman. Basically, what's going on here is you have a situation here where a man has been able to make a machine. And you can see a sped up version of some of these TikTok videos here on the left-hand side. This gentleman, his name is Julian Brown. He started doing this when he was 17 years old. He's like 20 years old now. He created a machine that literally will take plastic from the ocean, plastic from anywhere, and it will turn it into 3 usable sources, man. We're talking about a natural gas, which is the byproduct of it. And then he creates a diesel and an actual gasoline. He calls it plastoline and plastodiesel or something like that. And he said his life was in danger. He literally said that he was scared for his life. And he went. His post said, and you guys can all go look it up yourself. His post basically said that there were helicopters circling his property. They had their radar turned off. He was fearing for his life, and this is after he got a lot of attention for this product. Eric, what's your take on this, man? Have you seen any of this?
I haven't seen much of that, but it doesn't really surprise me because big pharma, big oil, things on that order, when they find anybody that actually threatens or challenges what they're doing, they need to be eliminated. How many times have we heard, oh, I had a product and I sold it, but they shelved it? Well, why did they shelve it? Because ultimately, it could have put them out of the market, or changed their market to the point where they lost an interest of it, where they lost some of the money.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you weren't correct, there would be a cure for cancer. With all that's gone into researching cancer, if you think that we know several causes of cancer. Sugar is one of them. So why isn't sugar? Guns are killing people. Well, so is sugar, man. I'm gonna tell you right now, sugar's killing more people than guns every year. I promise you that. We have a pandemic when it comes to diabetes in this country. Am I wrong, Eric?
No, you're quite on point. I mean, a gun, as long as you leave it lay there, won't hurt anybody ever.
It won't kill you. It won't kill you.
But sugar, if you touch it at all, can enter your body. And they say that if it was to come out onto the market right now, it would be a class 3 narcotic.
Exactly.
Because it's so highly addictive and the damage it does unto your body.
And it's been proven time and time again now that it does cause cancer. It actually, it really excites the cancer cell is what happens. So, it's a genetic function that happens within the body. And, but the bottom line is when it comes to this, I've never trusted oil companies. I don't personally, honestly, if you trust your government, at this point, I don't care which way you lean, you're a sucker, okay? That's the bottom line. And anybody that gets mad at me for saying that, you just need to open some history books and look, because it's history repeating itself time and time again. And when it comes to big corporations, man, this is going to happen. This is the stuff that's going to happen. Do you remember, Eric, the guy who created the electric car? It was way back in the day, it was like a rabbit or something that he converted over to electric. Do you remember that? That guy disappeared.
Oh yeah,
yeah. The guy who actually created biodiesel in the first place, that was taking he was going around to all the restaurants and picking up oil. And he created he figured out how to run his another little rabbit. I guess the rabbit's the hot car for these guys, but he learned to run his little rabbit diesel on biofuel, and that guy disappeared. So and it goes on and on and on. And I mean the conspiracies are. It sounds like a conspiracy until all of a sudden it's real, and I tell people probably get tired of hearing me say this, but Eric, if I told you 150 years ago that man would be flying one day, you'd tell me to take off my tinfoil hat, wouldn't you?
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, I'm old enough that I can remember if you told me that we were going to walk around with a cell phone and talk to people.
Absolutely. And
take pictures and video and send them to each other in seconds. I would have said, well, so which sci-fi book are you reading?
Yeah. Well, actually, if you were a Star Trek fan at all, it's amazing because everything except the interstellar travel and the actual teleporter is real now. Everything. I mean, we have our microwaves, we have our phone, and honest to God, that teleprompter thing they were using, whatever it was called, the communicator, was a piece of crap compared to my phone. Come on.
It was a flip phone.
It doesn't do half the stuff that my phone does, So, bottom line is, man, I never, Eric, thought I would be walking around in this world. I never thought I would see this, So.
Well, if you want to look at history even a little farther back than Star Trek, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, they talked about having life under the water, air conditioning, refrigeration, telecommunication, everything else, and that was, if I remember right, 1904.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, man. I'm a big, Eric. I'm a little nerdy. I go down the old rabbit hole sometimes. But I've been studying Egypt now for years and years, and hieroglyphics, and I've always been puzzled by why are there chariots on the walls? And people again have heard me talk about this in other sessions. Why are there chariots in hieroglyphics that are racing but have no horses? There are no horses connected to them. They're receiving lightning bolts from the sky. Okay, Now we've discovered all of this that is underneath the pyramids of Egypt. There's no doubt that Egypt was a Tesla type power source, and I don't mean, I'm not talking about Elon Musk. I'm talking about Nikolai Tesla. Nikolai Tesla was set to basically give the whole world static electricity. He was lighting up fluorescent bulbs 8 to 10 miles away from his tower. People were standing there holding up fluorescent bulbs in the air. In fact, he was one of the inventors. He actually helped to invent the fluorescent bulb. So the bottom line is, what happened with him? Westinghouse and GE basically bought his property and burned it to the ground. They didn't buy it. They put him out of business because they had loaned him money. And anybody that studies that, are you familiar with that, Eric? Yeah.
Very, very familiar with Tesla.
So there's a good possibility, a really, really good possibility that Egypt was far more advanced than we think. I mean, way far. We know that you can't, they built buildings we can't build to this day. We can't build those buildings. Now, they've discovered now that there are crystal towers that go, 3, 4, 5, 6 times the length, the height of the pyramid. There are literally pylons that are partially made of crystal, partially made of limestone. There's water beneath this thing, and they go taller than the World Trade Centers do. Okay, down into the ground. All right, this has just been discovered recently, but I have believed for years that there is no reason why you would have helicopters in hieroglyphics. Why would you have airplanes? Why would they find models of airplanes when put in an air test, basically test out better than anything that we have modern? This is stuff that is just, to me, is phenomenal. And I have to say, Eric, and you tell me if you think I'm crazy. What are the chances that Big Pharma, if they were that advanced, what were the chances that corporations didn't kill Egypt? What are the chances?
Well, not somebody that looks at all different types of scenarios, but it is very possible that there were people of that time that had something that they didn't want everyone else to have a part of, or that they were selling to the people and the new product was actually better than what they had. Right. And like this young man, I mean, he's taken the plastics. What's one of the biggest problems in the world? Excess plastics. What is another one? Fossil fuels. We need fossil fuels because we're still addicted to them. I mean, horsepower, running vehicles, coal, all these different things. If you can take all the excess plastics and turn them into fuel, well, guess what? We don't need as much fuel. So what's going to happen? Everything is done by supply and demand. Absolutely. If there's not as high of a demand, what's going to happen to the price? It's going to plummet. A lot of people don't realize it, but offshore, there are a few thousand ships from OPEC and from the different oil companies that sit there until they say, okay, the price has gotten high enough, dump it on the market.
Absolutely.
And then they will pull back. They'll let them sit out there. They're burning their own fuel. So what does it matter? They're not losing any money. They're waiting on the prices to go up, and then they dump it right back on us.
And Eric, there was this guy, he's gotten a lot of traction in the last few months. And there's an animation on TikTok or YouTube, one of them, that someone else made about his product. And it literally shows an analyzation of how the price of scrap plastic would end up being a commodity in the future. There would be farming, that people would be farming the oceans. The oceans are so filled with plastic
to pick up the plastics
that off the coast of Africa and such, you could farm the ocean for years and years and years. And the price of scrap plastic, as this guy shows in his illustration, would go up to the point to where it would become a commodity for people to have scrap plastic, because it is, after all, it's a petroleum-based product. That's what it is. So,
I just hope they don't go looking for old condoms.
Well, they don't want any of mine. So, I do collect them. No, I'm kidding. But listen, on that note, I'd love to say, get the hell out of here. You just ruined my show. No, man, listen, I love you to death, bro. You are one of those people that just, from the moment I met you, I've always liked you. And I know I say that about so many people that come on the show, but my God, dude, I make friends and they're my friends for life, man. And you're one of them, Eric. So, with that being said, I really, really thank you for coming on today. It's been a great, great show. And I think people are really going to pick up on, on the fact that not everything needs a pill, man. And I mean, I swear to God, not everything needs a pill. Just try your best. Give this guy a chance. Give him a chance. And if he doesn't come through, I'll be surprised because he finds things that you just don't think are even there. So, Eric, once again, I want to thank you so much for coming over, man. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Larry. I really do appreciate you asking me to come on, sharing my story, letting people know that there are other alternatives out there other than the drugs and the surgeries, things like that. Don't be so quick to jump into a surgery. What we do is not cheap, but it's far cheaper than a surgery, and you're not down for months and months at a time. The rehabilitation time is not there. There's so many basic things that we work with that people go and get shots for, and it comes back. So I really do appreciate you educating the public that there's something else out there. And once again, it's A&E Medical Massage, 727-461-9808. Give us a call. Let us help.
We'll make sure we put all that information up for you, Eric. But I do have something came to mind as you were saying that. And it's a discussion we've had in the past. I used to be a little bit down on chiropractors in general. I thought they did more damage than good. And I talked to you about that. And you had said something to me that was really poignant. And maybe you'd like to talk about that for a second. You can't align unless you're, and I don't want to misquote this, okay? Unless your muscles are aligned, you can't really align your joints or whatever. Am I correct?
Well, the easiest way to say this is if muscles are overly tight, they're going to pull a bone back to where it was. So if you want to look at a good therapist and a chiropractor like a computer, a good-looking computer, it's got a motherboard, it's got video cards, it's got a great box, it's got a cooling system. That's awesome. But you know what? Without the software, it's just a good-looking box. So the software being your muscles, if they don't move and function the way they're supposed to, you're not going to get what you're looking to do. I mean, we work with children as early as 18 months old, all the way to my oldest client was 103. And there's so much that can be done, and so many people have been written off. These doctors, well, it's because you're old. You know what? Everybody gets old, but not everybody has to be old.
Right.
Father Time is the fight that you never lose. Mm-hmm. But if you sit in a wheelchair or sit in a rocking chair and think about how bad life is and things like that, Dr. Sanjay Gupta said at one point in time, most people walk around with their heads down and look at the ground. What is that? That's a defeated position. When you stand up, shoulders back, and meet the world head on, you're in an elated position. In that elated position, you're going to take in more oxygen, you're going to see what's coming, and you're going to be ready to meet the world. When you're looking at the ground, you're actually returning back to the earliest form and that the muscles remember, a fetal position. And that's why we get old, is because we start falling backwards into the fetal position that our bodies were born into. Now it's time to work harder to sit up straight, stand up tall, and make sure that you're up. One of the number one causes of Alzheimer's and dementia is lack of oxygen. When you lean forward, you can't take a deep breath. But when you sit up, there's nothing compressing your chest. So you're going to take in more oxygen, which means that you're going to get more oxygen to your brain. Some of us are a little bit off, but the brain still needs more oxygen.
What was that? I wasn't breathing for a minute. Can you say that again? No, I'm kidding.
Exactly.
Eric, and the thing is, as you were saying that to me, I was thinking to myself, all expressions come from somewhere. And I was thinking, how many expressions say, keep your chin up, raise your head, raise your head up high, hold your head up high. How many expressions throughout time really, really just, I would say, fortify exactly what you just said.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's just it. We've heard the same sayings over and over. Our grandparents, I mean, as we're getting older, we are the grandparents now. Mm-hmm. But we've heard it. Like I said, keep your head up, chin up, this, that, and the other. All has to do with being up, not fall down.
Right.
Well, sometimes they say break a leg, but
Yeah.
It's not always the best one.
I don't really know where that one came from, but it doesn't make a hell of a lot of sense. But with that being said, Eric, once again, I want to thank you for coming out. I want to thank everybody who's been watching our show, man. We're really we're having a ball here, and people are really. I thought in the beginning, I thought we needed to put on a real clown show. We had a lot of fun stuff, a whole lot of fun stuff. But I found that just the great guests, my friends, literally, I have friends lined up. Everybody that comes in here almost is somebody who's a friend of mine, and people that I've known all these years, and now it's time to highlight them, and it's so wonderful and so beautiful to be able to do this. But the one thing that we cannot do is survive if you don't hit that button. You've got to hit that like and that subscribe button. And it doesn't take you but a second to do it, and it helps us to get paid. It'll help us to bring you this stuff, and we're going to bring you so much more goodness, man, in the future. So once again, Eric Wilson, I am so pleased to have had you in here, man. I'd like to, one more time, we're going to say goodbye. Eric, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much for everyone. Do yourselves a favor, do me a favor, and do Larry a favor. Hit the subscribe button on Firelight Sessions with Larry Allan.
That's it. Thank you so much, guys. You guys have a good night, and we will see you next week, all right? You guys keep it together. There's a lot going on out there. Don't let things get to you, okay? Stay cool. And we've got Dr. Tony coming on in a couple weeks. You guys might remember him from the very first session. And he's a nut bag, okay? But he has some pretty good advice. So we'll see you guys next week. Have a great one, man. Bye.